I'm going to show you not one, but all of Apple's new TechWoven cases for the iPhone 17 line. Let's get into it. Real quick, if you want to keep up to date with all the latest Apple news and reviews, hit that subscribe button. So every year with the iPhone launch, Apple always launches a collection of new cases. Now, for years, Apple had introduced leather cases alongside the silicone and clear. When Apple started to really push its eco messaging, it made the tough decision to move away from leather. This applied to all of Apple's leather goods, be it the MagSafe wallet, the AirTag keychain cover thing, Apple Watch bands, and its cases. Anything that was leather was being replaced with something else. Initially, the something else was called FineWoven, and it was frankly trash. It was critically and commercially panned. No one really liked FineWoven. Well, Apple's trying its hand again at a leather and FineWoven replacement with a new material case design called TechWoven. And the pitch of this is that it's not as much luxury as it is more technical. It's a little bit more rugged, durable, that kind of vibe versus being elegant and clean. It comes in a few different colors. Let me show them to you. The colors for TechWoven. The first one up is Sienna. It is kind of like a burnt reddish brown color. Definitely more brown down the sides. But there's a little bit like a coppery color to the woven fabric there on the back. So this is Sienna. The next one we have is green. Pretty standard. It's a darker green. I think this one looks really good. A little more vibrant on the sides than on the back. Looks good. The metal buttons look great with this one. You can see the inside. I like this a lot. This is the green color. Then we have a blue version, just called blue. Darker blue. We have our buttons here. Everything looks nice. This is blue for the TechWoven cases. Then we have purple. It is still a very dark purple. Honestly, the blue and the purple look really similar until you get them into some brighter light. And you can start to see the differences a bit. So this is the purple color in the TechWoven cases. And then finally, we have black. Very simple black case. We may not have a black phone, but we at least have a black TechWoven case to go with it. Like with all of Apple's cases, they do support many of the new features that we have talked about in other videos. They do have support for the camera control, which is color matched to the body. They do have anchors now at the bottom to attach Apple's own crossbody lanyard, as well as many other third-party ones that are coming to market. And of course, there is MagSafe support. MagSafe is really handy. You can use it to connect to chargers, adjust your phone at really any angle. You can also connect other accessories like magnetic charging pucks, MagSafe battery packs, wallets, stands, and more. Okay, let's look at the design of this case in a little bit more of up-close detail. Now, the TechWoven material is primarily here on the back as well as on the inside. It does not wrap around the edges of the case. This is still a plastic material with a slight bit of texture to it just to provide some extra grip. We do have the metal buttons, which look fantastic, offer some nice, like, bright contrast when the light hits them, and just more of a, quality element versus the silicone ones that are all just pure molded silicone. Apple could have made these plastic, but the metal and the anodized color to match the cases is just like a really nice touch. That's a carryover from Apple's leather cases that it had in the past. Yes, we do have the camera control, as expected. Feels really nice, tactile, the same touch sensitivity passing through. The thing, though, with this is the back looks nice, and I like the feel of it. But the fact that the TechWoven material, which is made from multicolor little fibers, doesn't wrap around the side, still makes it feel a little cheap. It just still does not have the same quality feel to it as Apple's leather cases did. Now, I do think that it is better than the FineWoven ones that Apple had. Here is one of my old FineWoven ones, and like this feels even cheaper with this really crappy kind of material on the back, this feels a little bit more like quality in the TechWoven fiber canvas like material, but it needs to go around the side because anytime you have this plastic bumper there, it feels cheap. You're just not going to get the same quality that the leather cases did. And if Apple is attempting to kind of replace the leather with a premium alternative, I still don't think this is it. I like this. It feels really good to hold, feels good on the phones. It's a really nice case, and I always like Apple's little touches, like the fact that the MagSafe magnets will show the little pop of color as you put it onto your phone. I do like that they have the lanyard anchors at the bottom this year. I like that you can match the color through iOS 26. There's a lot of like little details to Apple's cases that are nice, but even in compared to FineWoven, this is not as good of a replacement to the leather ones. It just isn't quite there for me. I hope that, maybe Apple will do a new version of this, because if they kept the same material and then wrapped it around the sides, I think I would be more sold on these. Apple did address some of the things with this canvas-like material. It has a special protectant on it on the outside, a little coating that makes it more stain resistant, as well as prevents it from kind of scuffing or fraying or anything like that. But that was my main worry, as if Apple did wrap it, would it start to fray around the edges? And that could be perhaps why they didn't do that. And they kept with essentially the same design as FineWoven, just with a new textile. So it's a step up from this for sure, but not a full replacement for leather. I briefly mentioned it, but Apple has another neat trick with its cases this year, and it's part of iOS 26. Now, before, when you would put on an Apple case, you'd have this really cool little animation that would bloom on your screen, and it would match the color of the case. See, Apple's cases actually have little embedded NFC chips, and that tells the phone the color of the case that you're putting on. That's how it would create that animation. Well, since it knows the color of your case, you can use this in a new way with iOS 26. Now, when you have one of Apple's cases on your phone, you can go into the color picker when you're tinting your icons, and there's a new option to match the case. It's that simple. You put on one of Apple's cases, and then you can choose case as your color option, and it'll match your icons to the case on your phone. It just has that perfect color to complement these cases, just like Apple does with the Apple Watch. Usually its bands have a color, and then that same color will be listed in the watch face, so you can make the face match the band. Now, a similar thing with iOS, but it does so automatically thanks to that little hidden NFC chip in MagSafe. I'll be honest, I do like these cases, but I think it was a bit more sold on them before I actually got to hold them. Like, they do a good job. They are woven with that like multicolor thread, which does create a really unique effect, but I don't know. It's just the cheapness factor still sticks out to me. And I think there are some other options that people should maybe consider. But I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys all think. Let me know down below in the comments, what do you think of TechWoven? Is this a good replacement for leather and FineWoven? Let me know down below in the comments. Of course, if you want to learn more about Apple's other cases, they have silicone cases, clear cases, and iPhone Air exclusive cases, and some kind of neat Beats ones. Check out the other video that I put up on the channel. I walk through all of the other options that are there from Apple. Of course, if you want to learn more about Apple and keep up to date with the latest news and reviews, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video.